What was your favorite TV show growing up? My all-time favorite show is Thomas and Friends. It's about a train named Thomas and his friends who usually have to do a lot of business for Topham Hatt because he is a poopy head. However, I discovered a last episode that was kind of surreal from my experience. One day, I was at school talking to my friends about Thomas and Friends, and by the way, my name is Stella. Thomas and Friends is usually watched by most 4 to 9-year-old boys, but I still have a childhood too, including other Thomas and Friends Tank Engine fans. I am only 16 years old. A few days later, I was on my computer looking at Thomas and Friends episodes on the computer. I've even seen a meme on steamed hams on YouTube about this show. After I watched it, I got in my car and drove off to the Goodwill store. As I was picking up a few things, I noticed that my 5-year-old son's birthday was coming soon, so I went back to the VHS aisle to check for Thomas and Friends tape. I found the movie titled Thomas and the Magic Railroad and something I couldn't explain. It was a videotape titled Thomas and Friends Episodes 1 to 10. It was written in a blue Sharpie. It costed $5. I bought the tape and drove home. I forgot to tell you, my 5-year-old son is named Vince. 3 days later, his birthday came. He thanked me for the present I got him, but he hadn't watched it yet. One night, I was forced to babysit Vince while my parents went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I thought that my son should watch the DVD ever since he got it for his birthday. I took Vince upstairs and started the DVD. Meanwhile, I went to the living room and ordered pizza from Domino's. I was watching All Dogs Go to Heaven on TV when Vince came out of his room looking pale as a sheet. Stella? He asked. Are you alright? I replied. Vince looked like he was sick. As I could tell, he was. I told him to get his pajamas on and get to bed. As I was giving Vince his medicine, he asked me something obviously weird. Why did Sir Topham Hatt die from an atomic bomb? I was confused, but later answered his question. I'm sure Sir Topham Hatt didn't die. I shut off the bedroom light and took the DVD to give it a watch over. I put it in the DVD player and started watching it. I played episode 1 and it began, but things were off. The windmill was worn down. Thomas didn't have his coaches Andy and Clarabelle on him. It really looked like it had blood. Another thing I noticed is that as Thomas was going under the bridge, Bertie the bus crushed a kid to death. The episode started Thomas and Tim of Sheds crying. The thing is, it didn't sound like cartoon crying. It sounded like a man was crying. Meanwhile, Percy went over to Thomas and talked to him a bit. Percy. Thomas, what's the matter? Thomas. Oh, Percy, I don't think I'm a really useful engine, but Sir John had punished me sometimes. And I got to another scene. Percy was on the little engine's bridge and he slipped off. Next, it was that bull who scared the shit out of me as a little kid. He served me for about 5 minutes. I got my phone out as the scene went on. After 5 minutes, the episode continued. The next scene showed Thomas taking a few children to the seaside. Meanwhile, an EAS came up on the DVD and it was on the island of Sodor. It said that a time bomb was going to hit Sodor in 15 minutes. Thankfully, it was in the cartoon. It then cut to a scenery at the beach when all of a sudden a flash of light was shown and a mushroom cloud was seen. There were signs of the children's skin melting off, including the Topham Hatt. The next scene shows all of Sodor being burned down. It faded to show a basement that had trains in it. The trains and other vehicles in the basement were Thomas, Gordon, Henry, James, Percy, Edward, Duncan, Diesel, Salty, Duck, Donald, Douglas, Bertie the Bus, Sir Handel, Reneas, Scarloey, Peter, Sam, Scarloey, Duke. I'm sorry, I mean, you done cliche. There was also sights of a few drivers and firemen, including a girl named Nancy who was featured in one episode. As this scene went on, something flashed on the screen for a split second. I rewound it a few times until I saw something that shocked me. It appeared to be a picture of Riley Ederson from Inside Out on a crucifix. But what made it horrifying is that she was naked, there was blood surrounding her stomach, and she had a scrape on her knee. That was disturbing. And then it cut to the credits. However, Thomas was usually the end titles, but it was Percy. I have no idea what I just watched. 3 hours later, I got on Gmail and wrote a letter to Brett Alcroft, the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine. After 5 minutes, I got a reply which said this: Dear Stella Russell, thank you for taking the time to write a letter to me. I am very surprised by the episode Thomas and Friends you watched. Back in 1987, there was an animator named David Mason. He wrote a missing episode to fool us all. I don't have time to explain the rest. Thank you for writing to me. Best wishes, Stella Russell. I never would have experienced a thing like that. If you see it, don't pick it up.